Welcome back to another video. In today's video topics, I'll be mainly covering using DRT, which is dealing range theory, and also adding a OTE optimal trading entry to help you find overall daily market bias in the higher time frame. And then you can also leverage OTE to find your ideal entry with precision. So first, to cover dealing range theories, for those that you don't know what's dealing range theory in simple definition is essentially finding the most recent significant swing high and swing lows. Those are essentially the range institution will be operating in, and then based on that, you can formulate a premium zone and a discount zone. So anything in the discount zone will be higher chance for you as a towards buy side bias, and then if it's in the premium, it will be a sell side bias. So essentially, that's a short understanding of dealing range theory. So here on the right hand side on the chart here, quickly show this. How do you typically define a significant high and significant low? Typically, I will leverage this as once there is a liquidity sweep on either the buy side or sell side. So for example, here there's a sell side sweep of this relative equal low. This left behind a significant swing low. So once we see this, there's a significant swing low. We can see there are relative equal highs here. Once these are taken, right? Once these are taken, these become a significant swing high. So I use this point here and this point here. You can draw using a FIB tool. So here you can see from here to here, mark out there's the 50%. So this is the 50% equilibrium. And anything above 50% equilibrium, this will be a premium zone. So anything from this above here, we can consider this as towards sell side bias. So up here, we'll look for towards bias on the sell side for a sell model. And anything under the 50% will be our discount zone, where it will be a buy side bias. And this will look for any buy side model that can be formed here. Okay. So this essentially create a bias decision. If sell is in discount, you look for longs, and premium zone, you look for short. So vice versa. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Now let's jump into adding OTE. So adding OTE into here. So once we identify a recent swing high and recent swing low, this are our dealing range from here to here. From in here, we can always expect there's some sort of retracement. So let's say if this is overall in the higher time frame is trending towards the buy side, what we want to look for is some sort of pullback into the discount zone, which is highlighted in the green box here. But how do we know how far we'll pull back? So this is where we add an OTE. So OTE, if you're not familiar, I have another video. You can check that one out. I won't be in detail going to OTE. OTE is essentially you can leverage a FIB tool, drawing from this recent swing low to swing high. There is the 50%, and then there is the 61.8 to the 79% retracement. These are the OTE zone. So as highlighted here, this is the OTE zone. This is what we look for. So you can see the price once have swept this liquidity, also swept this liquidity, it pulled back all the way down here, taking this liquidity in the discount zone. So if you're using the dealing range theory, the pullback to the discount zone and sweeping this liquidity over here. So this liquidity is swept and then pull into OTE. We can look for entry from here, right? So here, this is only from a bigger time frame. This is a 4-hour time frame, which is higher time frame. If we look into zoom down to lower time frame, we can also find additional entry using 1 hour or 30 minutes with something lower. But typically for overall daily bias, I like to go from top to bottom. That's my essentially top my bottom analyses. Starting from 4 hours, give me a big picture on where I expect the price to pull back to. So for example, this day, I expect the price to pull all the way back here. So also something to highlight here is there is also a fair value gap here. Also liquidity, which lined up with the OTE. This is a very, very high confluence zone where I want to look for entry, where these area have low balances that have low volume imbalance that hasn't been filled yet. There will be expected price have a high chance pulling back into the zone, aligning with OTE before continuing higher, which it did later in the next 2 days. Okay, so once we have understanding of what exactly is the dealing range theory and OTE, now we're jumping to some of the live chartings. Okay, now let's jump into the example we're showing initially and kind of walk you through on what I look for from top-down analyses for the recent past week trade I had taken. So here, this I'll highlight here, this box here. This essentially is a consolidation zone, right? You can see the price didn't go anywhere, continue range in this zone here, in this box. Once I see there are these equal lows and also these fair value gap, so once I see a sweep of liquidity over here, this becomes a significant lows. Okay, so this becomes a significant lows that I keeping my eyes on. Depending, I see if I want to pull back all the way to further down to fill these gap, but didn't. So here you can see it respected this order block as well. So I'll highlight it here. So there are a couple mainly things when you I'm going through top-down analysis on the higher time frame is I want to see which level we're respecting to get at least an understanding where the trend is going to be. In these type of days is where you want to be trading in the lower time frame. In the higher time frame, you can't really see anything since it's just constantly range bound. So the price movement is going to be much smaller. So if we zoom out on the daily chart, right? So on the daily chart here, there's a huge fair value gap that's filled here, and also going back to 4 hours. We don't know how far it's gonna pull back to, right? And then we don't know if it's gonna form a market structure break or it's just sweeping the liquidity. So here, in this case, it respected the order block, sweeping liquidity. Once I have the break of market structure break, so here there's a market structure break, market structure shift or change in state delivery. Once this happens, I know this is a liquidity rate, right? Once this is a liquidity rate from the sell side liquidity, what I want to look for is how far it will push up. Once these equal lows was formed in the past days, all these equal highs on the buy side, once this is taken and push it to, and this is on Thursday, May 29, over in the pre-market, once this is taken out, I can essentially view this as a significant high, and I use this as my daily range. So this from here, this bottom to all the way top, this is my daily range, and you can see this is the equilibrium and 75% and 25%. That I want to start looking for trade. What I'm expecting is, since this didn't pull all the way back down and also respecting this order block, I expect this to continue going higher to grab this liquidity. So from here, what I do is I use OTE, so I use the FIB tool. So OTE, so you can see I want to see if I can find a trade into here, right? So on this day, the next day on Friday, where I want to see price is if I zoom down to 1 hour. So here, once I zoom down to 1 hour, I can see there is a fair value gap that's formed here, right? There is a fair value gap that's formed here, aligning with the OTE. And then if I want to get very precise, I can leverage multiple confluence, which there is an order block. Okay, so once this order block, I can put my target even for the 61%, that's fine. And then if you put your stop outside this order block or even outside this OTE zone, let's say put it outside OTE zone, and then you target the high. So target is high up here. This will give you a 3R trade, right? This is what we're expecting the price to move towards up here to grab this liquidity. Once this sell side liquidity swept, what we want to see is respecting this OTE, which it did, and now we want to see reaching this toward buy side liquidity. And let's say there are cases that it doesn't reach for that buy side liquidity and just kind of sweep this and then move further down. That's also a possibility. So typically what I do is taking this range as well. So this is also another DRT. So once this equal low is swept, right, I can use this as a significant high and significant low. as my targets, right? So this is within the 1 hour, so I'm zooming down. My OTE will be in this zone. And I can just target here, 61% OTE. So which is this day. So on this day, once this is swept on Monday, this already gave me close to 2 hour trade. OTE lining up here. This is, you can take some partial here and then move the rest to break even, and then you have the rest of the runner to target for this next buy side liquidity, which will definitely probably hit. From where we're looking at is, you can one thing that I have noted down throughout my trading career is usually if you have draw using the OTE, so for example this range high to this range low, if it's past, if any candle, multiple candle close outside the 79% range, and you see all these candles stacking above and is respecting outside of this, there are a very high likely probability it will complete this sell side liquidity, will rate the sell side liquidity going further up before it chooses a direction to move back down or continuation to upwards. So this is a telltale sign that most time that we will complete this range by either close to the end of this week or middle of this week, since middle of the week is typically in manipulation. So on Wednesday, so today is Tuesday, next day is Wednesday. Typically on Wednesday is the reversal day to be trend. Monday will create a trend, and then Tuesday continuation, and Wednesday set a raid stop rate on either buy side or sell side. In this case, it's going to be a buy side, and then Thursday, Friday will continue lower if it does want to switch direction, or continuation upwards if there's a significant amount of trend to continue upwards. But here is a simple leverage of using dealing range theory and also OTE to get a entry. So circle back to high level how I find trade that is high probable setup is I look for liquidity sweep as typically relative equal highs. So for these essential zones, so this essentially is a dealing range zone that will never break out. Once it's breaking out, I want to see a direction. Once I see it's respecting this order block, and then for example going back to the OTE, right? Let's say even I use this and for my recent high and my recent low. So let me clear this out a little bit. So here it is, so you can see better. Okay, so you can see using this as my OTE. So this is using this high and this low, right? Once you see price are coming back down, swept this liquidity going up, it's respecting this OTE, great. But once it pull back down, it shoot back up with a lot of big fast candle upwards, and then you see a lot of candle close above it. Most of the time it will go for this liquidity, and which it did, right? It create another equal high, pull back down, and then go back up, right? So typically when you have all these candle close and create equal highs, next thing you could do, even you want to trade on, for example, the Wednesday on May 28, what you could do is go down to the lower time frame, right? Use this low, right? This low, this high, and you see what you form here, OTE, right? So this applies to small range, big range. It's very high probability to give you precise entry, right? OTE, you tapped it and literally go up, grab all these equal high. When you have all these equal high, these are the spot that you want to look for. This is complete equal high, and it's not even a relative equal high. It's just equal highs up here. It's waiting to be taken. Once that's taken, right? These are. So I'm looking at a 1 hour, right? When this is taken, this become a significant high. This becomes significant low on the higher time frame, and this is why I use this high to use this low, and this is OTE. Once it trades back down here, this is the day I start looking for entry the next day. For this day, maybe I don't take a trade. That's fine, right? But I see the stage respecting it. I expect the next day, this is the protected low. I can expect higher probably low for long trade. One in the bigger picture, this is in the discount zone. So right in the 4 hour, this is giant green box. This is the discount zone, and also in the 1 hour time frame where you can see it's respecting the OTE, right? This gives you high probability that you should not be trading short this day. You will get burned. This is the day that you want to look for long entry on the particular, let's say this is Monday. So for this day, let me go down to 30 minutes, right? So 30 minutes OTE respected on Friday. Here we can see order block, right? And then OTE. So once it swept this relative equal highs, this is significant high, this is significant low, right? OTE, right? Entry for long, you can put it even at OTE for 61. Your stop will be outside this order block and also at this low. You don't even need to put it at this low. If it's respecting, it should not swing any lower. And target for this recent high. Even its target side to give you 2.4 RR, right? That's more than enough for your daily execution for just one single trade, right? This is high probable trade that you should be looking for. I think a lot of new trader are not profitable in the sense is where they go wrong is not looking at the bigger picture. And I started out with the same thing. So this is just speaking from personal experience is we jumped to, there are some traders just trading off 1 minute right away or even 5 minutes, right? Jump into 5 minutes. This is insane. Like there are so many places where you can place an order, just click a button. It's not high probable. You need to have a understanding on where the price is sitting and where is the most high probable trade, right? And trading is literally not prediction game, it's a probability game. It's essentially you want to put your bet on trades or position that will win, let's say seven time out of 10 time, right? You don't want to be placing trade 3 times out of 10 times that will give you win rate, unless your win rate for your winner, for your risk and reward, that's another topic. But if your risk and reward is very high, sure, your win rate can be low. But if your win rate is 1 to 2, even just 1 to 2, you should be at least aiming for 60 to 70%. Will also be very hard to become profitable. Okay, so my suggestion is here before I end the video here is once you find a range, those typically can be identified relative equal high, relative equal lows, or significant level where, for example, here there's a big range that's going to be filled where low volume of imbalance is formed and also order block. Once it's respected, we can ideally have a high probability chance that it's going to target this equal high, right? Even for in the middle here, we can definitely look for trade on this day in the lower time frame, anything under here, and expect the move to go up here. That's doable, right? And then same thing here, I'm just using a bigger picture where starting with 4 hours, you can mark it out. Even the start of this today is Tuesday. When I'm filming this video, this is Tuesday, and this is Monday and Friday. From Friday, since this is formed, right, OTE, from here, I can already expect this week to be very bullish, right? From here, overall range, respecting this, filling this fair value gap, which is imbalances, sell side imbalances. Once this is filled, I can expect this week is going to aim for this buy side liquidity, and it's going to be bullish. So my trade should be only looking for ideal bullish scenarios so bias towards the buy side instead of looking for sells. So for example, today, right? Today, simple trade I took on Tuesday, order block. I think I see a lot of people try shorting at the open, which is it's not high probability. I wouldn't say it's wrong or right. It's just not high probability trade in my eyes. So when we know this is a target, draw the targets, I want to look for buy side. So once this order block, if I look down to 5 minutes, right here, this is the 5 minutes, join the market open. This is OTE, right? When this happened, I want to start looking for trade to see if the order block is going to get respected. So my entry today was here. So long here. So there are equal relative equal low here. My limit entry was here, so you can even follow me on X, on YouTube, or whichever platform. You can see I post a video on this day on I limit order. I put the limited order here and one limited order at the 61.8%. So typically sometimes it won't even come all the way down, but typically when you get relative equal low, it will definitely get swept. So this got swept, this got swept, this low also gets swept, this low also gets swept, right? And then form a SMT. So there was an SMT form with ES over here, and then my target was this equal high. That's it. So it was that simple. I mean, I didn't target, later on the price moved all the way up, but for me, this is enough, right? 2.1 RR, this is all I aim for. Quite simple, with good size. Made 2.5K on each account, and multiple across all accounts. So that's more than enough bread just to have simple trade set up like this. Don't need to aim for home run. I mean, you could have running on this. That's totally fine. All the way to equal highs, but I didn't anticipate it to go all the way this high today. I was assuming that we'll only grab this high right here, but seems like tomorrow is gonna shoot for the top and probably I assume retrace back down before going up to Wednesday towards NFP. I think NFP is on Thursday, so typically I won't be trading Thursday on NFP days. The day before NFP is typically very highly manipulative, so I won't be trading Nasdaq on Thursday. I'll probably just trade another market, gold or something else, and avoid Nasdaq on Thursday. But Wednesday, I assume to get manipulated. Will this get manipulated on Thursday? That's what I'm looking for. So anyway, and before ending this video, if you find these type of video helpful, please leave a like and subscribe, and follow my other social media on X to see my daily trading post, and also my theories, and also my prediction, well, not prediction, my thoughts on where to trade my goal. I'll post it, share more live updates on X over YouTube. But please leave a like and subscribe. Stay safe. Happy trading.